Yo, what's going on, guys? Johnny GB here, bringing you guys week 1 of the PMC. We are taking on the Verd in a rematch of the Season 2 Finals. First time I've actually gotten to play Verd since then, and it was a great battle. So we're going to be taking through here post-com. I will apologize for this battle being up late. Just a lot of scheduling conflicts between me and Verd. Week 2 versus Mastodon. I'm playing him today, the day I'm recording this. And that battle will be up Sunday on time. But without further ado, we're going to get right into this battle. Verd actually had a nice, fat, threatening team. Very difficult to prep against with a lot of different fat. So I'm actually going to lead off with my Neo Queen here because my goal was to try to get rocks up. But I also wanted to bait out the Landorus and see if I can be able to pick it off, in a sense, with the Ice Beam I have, because I do have a Shucka Berry. So I stay in, and I just go for the Ice Beam. I was really expecting him to Earthquake, but Verd really expected me to switch out into something else, and he's able to get to his Weavile as I go for the Ice Beam when, honestly, I should have got a layer of Toxic Spikes up. Instead, I went for the aggressive play, went for the Ice Beam, and now I'm forced to find something to switch into my Weavile. Now, I go into the Cobalion predicting the Icicle Crash, but instead he makes the good play and goes straight for the knockoff and gets rid of my Choppleberry. So now I have to sack something to this Weavile because I lost my Choppleberry, which can deal with the low kick, and I have no real other switch into this thing, so I just end up sacking my Cobalion simply because Hitmonchan is somewhat important to me because I can check this Weavile. Cobalion, in a sense, really didn't provide me much other than dealing with the Licky Licky. Now here I'm just going to go for the Volcanion play, and there's no reason for me not to click Fire Blast. He doesn't have a good fire switch in. He does have the Licky Licky that's especially defensive, and we are able to connect the Fire Blast, dealing about 35-40%, right around 33% really after the leftovers. So here I'm just going to go for the Toxic to try to whittle down this Licky Licky, and I end up missing the Toxic, and he gets a Wish off, which really sucks because I'm not really sure what else he wants to do. I am pretty bulky on my Volcanion, so I do have the opportunity to take any type of hit this thing wants to give, and he's going to show off the Earthquake. You're going to see here it's going to do about 25%, 30% to my Volcanion. So I know after my leftovers recovery, I can really just take a couple hits from this Licky Licky. But I still want to try to get Toxic off onto it. That's my main goal because I really don't want to end up having it stall me out. So I'm just going to go out to my Thundurus here, and I feel like, you know what, this might be a good time for me to set up a nasty plot on his Earthquake, because he's shown Wish, he's shown Earthquake. He's essentially just set up fodder for me, and that's exactly what I'm going to do here. Is I'm just going to go for the nasty pot play, get to +2, and smack something with Thunderbolt. Instead, he's going to go and show off the Ice Beam, so I mean, Verd, not surprised at all, very prepared, as I'm going to eat my Yache Berry, which now allows his Weavile to really just come in and check me with the Ice Shard fairly easily. And Verd's going to make a very good play here, as he's going to actually swap out to his Landorus. I went just for the Thunderbolt. I could have read the play of Landorus coming in, and it probably would have made the battle a lot easier. But we're going to go for Thunderbolt here. Now, I wasn't very sure on what Landorus he is. He did show U-turn, but he did show that he is a Scarf Landorus, and unfortunately for him, he's going to miss the Rock Slide, and Thundurus will take out the Thundurus will take out Landorus with a HP Ice, and here comes the Weavile. Pretty much just easy Volcanion switch in here for me on the Icicle Crash, and for Verd, unfortunately for him, his Weavile is going to miss the Icicle Crash, so they're pretty much just allows me to gain recovery back from the leftovers. And now I can just click a free Fire Blast again. There's no reason for me to. I can click Fire Blast or Steam Eruption. He has no real switch-ins to either of those moves. But I go for Toxic here because I felt like Licky Licky would be that switch-in. He does have the Celesteela in the back, so I did have to be wary of it switching in, but there's no real reason for a Celesteela to switch into my Volcanion. So I go for the Toxic now that I can start whittling down this Licky Licky. Because it being poisoned just now puts it on a timer. I'm not sure if he does have a Heal Bell on him or not, as he's going to miss this Steam Eruption. So I'm going to be able to take another Earthquake, but the Steam Eruption hurts, as it really would have put Licky Licky in potential range of another Steam Eruption, killing it after the poison damage, and now my Volcanion's having to take the Earthquakes. So it's not very good for me at this point. But I'm still going to go for the Steam Eruption. I can't really switch out into anything, really, because Meloetta doesn't want to take an Earthquake, and my Thundurus does not want to take a Ice Beam from this thing. So pretty much put myself in a position to where I have to stay in with my Volcanion. And honestly, I have Thundurus for the Celesteela, so I'm not too worried about if I do lose my Volcanion. So here, I'm just going to go for the Fire Blast, and thankfully I'm able to connect all the Fire Blasts, and Volcanion will pick up a kill. Now, here's where things got a little bit confusing for me. I was really unsure, because the Weavile's going to come in, and he's just going to revenge me with Knockoff. I was just really contemplating on what I'm actually able to do. I mean, I could have saved this for the potential Mega Ampharos, because I do have Earth Power. But instead, I end up making the wrong decision. Instead of going out to my Hitmonchan, I go out into my... I just sack off my Volcanion, which in one sense is one of the two bad plays I've made against this Weavile. But here I'm just going to force him out, as he's going to go into Batista, the Chestnut, which is going to take an okay amount of damage from the Drain Punch. But I do have Toxic on this Hitmonchan, which is actually very needed, in a sense that I can start wearing down this Chestnut, which I end up finding out he was Bulk, Drain Punch, Chestnut. So I'm able to land the Toxic on the Chestnut. Now the Chestnut is on a timer, as he's going to show off the Leech Seed. So he has Leech Seed, and then he had Bulk Up and Drain Punch, and I believe he had Protect as well. I cannot remember off the top of my head. So I was not worried about a Rest Tox set at this point, but my main goal there was to get the Toxic off on this thing. That way now I have it on a timer, and I also can outspeed the Mega Ampharos and put it on a timer as well. So I'm going to go out to my Nidoqueen. He does go for the double Leech Seed, knowing that I will probably switch out. I had Ice Punch in the back, but I didn't want to reveal it yet. And here is where I'm just going to get my Stealth Rocks up. So now, honestly, I should have gotten Toxic Spikes up, because now that puts Weavile in an even bigger issue, where it now takes Toxic damage, plus its Life Orb damage that it does have. But I felt like Rocks were a little bit more needed, and he's going to go out to Suzuki Gun, the Celesteela. Now, I can take on the Celesteela. I do have Thunderbolt on this Nidoqueen, and you're going to see here, I'm going to go for the Thunderbolt, and you're going to see he's specially defensive Celesteela, so this is going to do very little damage, and then has the Leech Seed recovery plus leftovers after that. But my main goal now at this point was pretty much sack off Nidoqueen, because Nidoqueen, honestly, at this point in the game, did not do much. I should have actually gotten probably a layer of Toxic Spikes there, because he still has the Ampharos out, and I can come in and just check this Celesteela with my Thundurus the next turn. Potentially even get 2 layers of Toxic Spikes. Now that Ampharos is a real issue, forcing almost... just pretty much forcing it and not allowing it to set up. But here he's going to withdraw his Celesteela, and he's actually going to go out to Marcy, which is his Mega Ampharos. He's going to take the Stealth Rock damage, and here I'm going to be able to get a crit Thunderbolt, which now puts him in what I think is range for HP Ice to kill. And he's going to make, Verd's going to make a very great play here. He's going to go out to his Weavile on my Meloetta switch. I kind of wish I maybe stayed in and clicked HP Ice just to weaken this thing, and then I can sack off potentially or switch into my Hitmonchan. And again, here I just had to sack off my Meloetta because there's not much I can do. I was in a position to where I was Pursuit Trapped there. But this allows my Hitmonchan to come in, pretty much just click Drain Punch versus this thing, gain the HP back, as he will end up going to Chestnut. So Hitmonchan will pick up a kill, as he's going to miss the Icicle Crash. I'm going to Drain Punch, I'm going to gain the HP back. So at this point now, we're sitting there, Hitmonchan going to be full health, and he has Celesteela, Chestnut, and Mega Ampharos. Ampharos is going to be weakened thanks to the rocks, going to be taking 12%. And Celesteela, its only recovery being the leftovers, and the Leech Seed. I'm just going to go for the Drain Punch because it deals about 40% to this thing, and I'm like, okay, you know what? Hitmonchan's in a very good position to potentially win this game. I do outspeed the Mega Ampharos, and I can potentially kill with Drain Punch. And Chestnut, with it being toxic, I'm allowed to Ice Punch it and essentially just wear it down with the toxic, especially since it no longer can stay around as long as it needs to be with it being on that toxic timer. So he's going to show that he is Heavy Slam, Leech Seed, Protect Celesteela, so now I have to really play around this thing and be smart when attacking it and finding the opportunity to go out into my Thunderous Eye and essentially set up a nasty plot to win the game. Because if I set up a nasty plot, I do end up winning the game. And I'm now putting his Celesteela in a range to where I can read and figure out when he will protect. He's going to go for the Heavy Slam, which is actually going to do a ton to my Hitmonchan, but I'm able to take it decently well. So this turn here, I'm actually going to switch out into my Thunderous, knowing that he's more than likely going to protect. There's no way he's going to risk his Celesteela here on a potential roll Drain Punch. So he's just going to go for the Protect because I'm put in a very good spot to where I'm going to get HP back. My Hitmonchan can end up winning the game. So I go straight out to Thunderous, as he's actually going to go for the Heavy Slam, probably just trying to take out my Hitmonchan. And honestly, when looking back at the play, I could have just sacked off Hitmonchan, weakened this thing, and then gone out into Thunders. And here's where I misplayed. I was really worried about HP Ice Celesteela, and I had the opportunity to where if I knew I live a Heavy Slam, so I can set up a nasty plot. I'm not Life Orb, so I won't worry about recoil. And here I go for the Hidden Power, and turns out Verd actually did not have the Mega Ring, so he was actually not able to Mega Evolve, and his Ampharos will actually take out my Thunderous. We did the calcs and everything, and he lived with probably just a sliver of health. Now, why that's important, I go for the Drain Punch here, and I actually end up getting Static Paralyzed. Yes, I do gain HP back, but the Static Paralyze, I mean, it probably hurts, but really, me not going for the nasty plot there really just hurt me a lot, because I could set up, and at that point, HP Ice would have killed a Mega Ampharos, probably would have killed that regular Ampharos, and then would have weakened the Chestnut severely to where Hitmonchan can go in. And here, instead of actually going for the Drain Punch, I make the play, and I just go for the Ice Punch instead. when I should have just gone for the Drain Punch to gain HP back and then get my leftovers recovery. And now me and the Chestnut are going back and forth in terms of Drain Punching each other, and since I'm slower, I'm able to get my HP back. Second. So, really, me not going for that nasty plot there really hurt me, especially knowing I could live a heavy slam, but again, it was just in the back of my mind, really fearing that HP Ice Celesteela in case he was trying to go in and set up Sweep Me. So, all in all, I mean, I'm not really complaining about the loss. I played decently well. I mean, there were plays that I could have had opportunities to go into Hitmonchan to save Cobalion, but again, Cobalion really does not help me in that later portion of the game, especially versus Chestnut. Other stuff, I mean, the Meloetta sack is probably the one where I should have actually switched out into my Hitmonchan on the knockoff, scared out his Weavile. But instead, it ended up costing me my Meloetta, which would have been actually very good versus his Mega Ampharos and Chestnut late in the game. So, all in all, I mean, a 1-0 loss, I'll take it, not mad about it. I prepped decently well, Verd prepped really well. I mean, I should have actually ended up losing this battle probably 4-5-0, just due to misses on his end, especially the Rock Slide miss on Thundurus. Volcanion just shreds through my team, honestly, so... I'm not Volcanion. Landorus Therian just shreds through my team, so that miss on it really just determined and allowed me to make this battle a lot closer than what it should have been. But if you guys enjoyed this Week 1 battle of the PMC, go ahead, smash the like button, go over to Bird's channel, support him, subscribe to his channel, watch his side of the battle, all that fun jazz. With all that being said, guys, I am Johnny GB, and I'm out.